So if I could just have everyone stand and face the flag, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so I will introduce the board members. First of all, we're being recorded. We're not live today because the internet is down. So Larry and Lee are recording this, and they will post it later on the Facebook page. So to introduce officers, over here we have Sue Smith. She is our first vice president. On my left, we have Donna Mueller. She is our second vice president. Pam Williams is wandering around selling tickets for us. She's our secretary, our treasurer. And our secretary is Dee Hammond. She is not here today. She's having a little procedure done, so if you'd keep her in her prayers, I'm sure she would appreciate that. Okay, today is our election of board members, and the candidates is Dennis here? Dennis, can you raise your hand? There he is. Okay, I'm sorry. Dennis Miller has stepped up. We did have Linda Gurley that was running for office, and our first announcement about this was that she was running. However, she's had a family emergency and let us know that she would not be able to fulfill her position. So she had to withdraw, and very nicely, Dennis Miller stepped up and said that he would be happy to serve on the board if elected. He's been in LPG for how long? About a month and a half. So I like his enthusiasm. He's ready to jump in and help out and be a part of the community. I really like that. So we do have Dennis Miller. Dennis, if you would stand up and wave to everybody, let them know who you are. And Sue Smith is also running. She's over here. She's already our first vice president. And I'm also running on this year, and I'm the president of the board. I would also like to introduce our vote counters, who are very busy back there, trying to make adjustments for the change from Linda Gurley to Dennis Miller. Hello, and the vote counters. We have in the blue and black there, that is, yes, that's you, Joan Swanson. Next to her, seated, is Lois Shanahan. And on the other side of the table is Bob Barrett. Did I say it right? Hey. All right. Thank you very much for offering to help. They will be passing out the ballots so you can vote during the course of this meeting. Let's see. They will collect your votes after everyone has voted. They'll give you some time to vote on those, read them over, see what it says. There is room there for a write-in ballot if you have someone that you have spoken to, I hope, before you put their name on there. You're free to put to do a write-in name on that ballot. And then after, we'll give you some time to fill them out and everything, and then we'll have them collected and counted, and then at the end of the meeting we'll announce what the actual tally was, so everybody will know what the tally was. Last month at our meeting, it was requested to put the 2021-2022 board accomplishments up online. We were not able to get it online. We didn't have enough time in order to do that. So we hopefully will be able to do that a month in advance going forward. But this year we were not able to do that. It was not enough notice. So I do have the list of accomplishments here, and I can read them to you now. People ask, what has the board done? This is what we've done. Under the title of Health and Safety, we had the Neighborhood Watch program has been revamped and restarted. There were gates on the wall running along Juniper Hills. On the other side of it is the 202 Expressway. Some of those were broken, and so we were able to get those repaired. I don't know if you've noticed the new sign on the Guadalupe gate warning against tailgating into the property. It also says that violators will be prosecuted. There are cameras there, and yes, you may not know that management looks at those and follows up on them, but they do. We also verified the completion of the ongoing project to paint white lines at some of the troublesome cross streets. That was a 3-phase project that has been finished, and it will continue to be done each year as the community is divided into thirds. So each year, 1/3 of the community is redone. So that has been finished. Yes.
Pencils, pens for people that don't have anything to write with? Well, or people share.
Maybe we share, or you could check with activities, see if they have any they could loan out. We're short on pens or pencils for voting. If anybody has extras, or if you need one, put your hand up in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. In the recycling program, we have made some advances in that also. The white receptacle in the ballroom has been out, but not today, apparently, for recycling from the ballroom that wasn't here before. And we've also had recycling receptacles put into the pool area. Those have been overflowing with plastic water bottles and pop cans. And so now we're able to recycle those also. As far as communications, we completed updating the email list, which now covers 843 email addresses within the community. I know this was listed last year as an accomplishment. What we did last year, because I did it for the previous accomplishments, we took out people that we knew didn't live here anymore, and we took out all the ones that had bouncing emails. That was it. This year what we did is we compared every single email address that had no name with it. None of the email addresses have names with them. They were just email addresses. So we'd get some really nice ones, you know, like I love Mickey Mouse at AOL.com. Well, we don't know who that belongs to. So the only way we could find out who it belonged to was to compare all of the email addresses with the phone book. So we had to go through looking for every one of those email addresses in the phone book to see if that person still lived here or didn't live here. Once we got that part finished, we went back and added all of the email addresses that are listed in the phone book. We added them to our email list. And anyone who requested to have their email added, we did that also. That project took us a little over 2 months to complete it. That was really a project. I think that's the biggest project I've worked on since I retired. So anyway, so that has been completed. We have a very up-to-date email list, which I'm very proud of. Per residents' request, we were able to add the rules and regulations to the website. That's the draft at this point. And also make the request concern complement form accessible, fillable, and emailable. So you don't have to give it to anybody on the board. You can just fill it out and email it to us right off of the website. The bylaws were updated. That was a 5-month project. We figured out who was going to be on that committee. They worked together for 5 months before we finally got the final vote on those, and they were accepted as they wrote them. So that has been finished. We updated the lpgra.org website. There were a lot of connections, links on there that took you to the page not found. So we've corrected that, we've revamped it, we added some things to it, we took things off of it and made it much more user-friendly. We've also had several informational speakers at our general meetings for the past year. I think there were 3 of them that we had listed on there. Resident requests that have been solved, the flag and mechanism to raise and lower the flag out front in front of LPG. That was replaced. We kind of stayed on them until it was done, and they have ordered they have ordered an extra flag, so hopefully we'll never be in the point where we don't have a flag up there. We'll have one on standby. The camera in the green waste area was installed. Yes, there is a camera in there. Yes, they can see who's coming and going out of there. Yes, they can see what you're putting into the green waste that doesn't belong in there. Last Thursday, someone put their no longer usable hot water heater in front of the gate. That makes it that maintenance has to take care of disposing of that person's water heater instead of them taking responsibility for their own possessions. So anyway, there is a camera there. Yes, management looks at it, but the only way they know that there's something wrong is if somebody reports it or if they just happen to glance at it at that time. They don't sit there watching it all day long. So if you know that someone is violating the rules for use of the green waste, please report it right then and there to management, because they do keep the tapes and they are able to go back and look at them to see who the offender was, just to let them know that that was not something that was acceptable in the green waste. We also had a new sign advertising the current activities at LPG. There was one in front of the pool that had things like softball and golf, things that are no longer here. They used to be here. When that sign was put up, they were here, but then the 202 went in and those things went away. So there is a new sign there. As far as community relations, I have to say that I'm really pleased with the relationship that we have with management. They do come to our meetings. There are times where it was Todd Lutz, now it's Paul Franchito. There are times where he is not able to come because of crises in the community that he has to take care of. Or Corinne has at times been at other parks covering while people have been, where there's a vacancy or they're not able to work at that time. So, but I would say for the most part, 3 of them are there. Christy, Corinne, and now Paul come to our meetings, and we have lively discussions about the things that residents want and why we can or cannot have them. So I think the relationship there has been a working relationship, and I'm satisfied with that. We're also having our elections this year, which almost didn't come. And I have to say, the problem is we don't have people within the community that are willing to volunteer. All of us that are on the board are just volunteers. We're residents. We're residents that just said, sure, I'll do that, I'll help out. And that's where we're finding a problem in getting people that are willing to serve. It's a 2-year term. I think the best part of it is you get to know a lot of people, you get to know the workings of this community, and I, for one, have truly enjoyed it. So anyway, so we are doing the elections today. And under miscellaneous, I have the LPGRA tax status was finalized as a nonprofit, and I will give credit to Pam Williams and Dee Hammond for taking care of that. It was kind of, we had made application for it and it was never followed through, and so we could have been in violation of federal tax laws, and they took care of everything and got us registered, so now everything's good and clear. So we are now an official nonprofit organization. And the other thing that we did is we changed the dates of the board meeting. It used to be the week after this meeting, and then we wouldn't be able to meet with management until after, and it wound up that it took 2 months to get responses for people, at these that have questions or complaints. It would be 2 months before we could get a response. Now we have it down to, if you make a comment within the month, you'll hear about it at the next meeting. So I think that works out much better for everyone. So those will be posted up on the website along with the minutes from the meeting that took place earlier in October. So, and we're going to post the newsletter online. And our LPG Observer will also be posted. That should all be posted hopefully tomorrow. Well, we'll send it to our webmaster tomorrow, and he'll get it up there as quickly as he can. Okay, so Joan, have all the ballots been passed out? Okay, and I see she's collecting now, so they'll be working on that. Let me know when you're done. Next thing on our list here is the minutes of the meeting from October 6th, I think it was. They are posted, they were emailed to everyone, giving you the opportunity to read them over. Is there anyone that has any questions about the minutes from the last general meeting? Okay. Oh, Pam has the last call for 50-50 right now. Anybody interested? No. Okay. She will be passing out the red tickets now for the $20 drawing at the end. Okay, so do we have a motion to accept the minutes as written? Got the motion? Second? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes have passed for that meeting. And Pam, I have you doing the treasurer's report. Can you do that now? Okay. We'll have the treasurer's report from Pam, and then she'll finish with her tickets.
Okay, our beginning balance as of last month was $904.15. We took in $140 in deposits, 26 was 50-50, 114 was recycle. We had one expense for $40, which is purchase of 2 months more of the door prices for December and January, leaving us a balance of $1,415 as of the 31st of October. You want me to do the recycle?
Might as well.
Okay, I'm just going to give you the totals for the recycle. Through the 27th, we have collected in aluminum 1,208 pounds, 47 in plastic, 3191 in plastic, 41 in miscellaneous, and a total cumulative since we started the program on January of 2021, $1,716.80. Thank you. Any questions? And the statements, the treasurer's report is all up here for your review.
Pam has been bringing the treasurer's statements, the bank statements and everything every month. So it's completely open book for anybody that is interested. You can come up and look through the notes there. I have to make a comment here. Well, first, let's do the vote. Are there any questions? There's no questions about the treasurer's report? Do I? Okay, we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as stated. Second to that? Got it. And all those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? They're accepted as is. We've had questions raised about, well, you guys have so much money, why don't you have a party for the residents? Why don't you give money to this? Why don't you give money to that? And the reason being is we are a legitimate 504 nonprofit organization. One of the rules in that is you cannot throw a party. You cannot use the money to throw a party. So, and anything that we do give money to, if it's not already a registered nonprofit organization, they have to be under the umbrella of the board because the board is a nonprofit. So you can't ask us to, I don't know, give a, you know, your grandson's collecting money for some sports group or something, and you want us to give them money for that. We can't do that. If there's an an activity within the community that's under activities, and you want us to give money to promote that or to, pay some, expenses or something, we can't do that either. It's not because we don't want to, it's because the government says you can't. So I just wanted to explain that. Did that make sense to everybody, I hope? I really don't like messing around with the IRS, so we'll follow their rules. Okay, committee reports. I have, are you going to do that one? Okay. We're going to have Donna come up and talk to us about the GAIN potluck that is this Saturday.
Good morning. Wake up. Okay, as Peggy stated, the potluck is now this Saturday because we've combined that with the GAIN meeting, which is Getting Arizona Involved in Neighborhoods. That's what GAIN stands for. The potluck is typical. Bring your dishes enough to serve 6 or 8 people. Also bring your own place settings. During this time with GAIN, the Mesa officials are expected to drop in. They have a number of communities to go throughout Mesa, so they're just dropping in. They're not going to be here to answer questions, but feel free to go up to them, introduce yourself, and maybe give them a high five or something like that, and thank them for coming. It's important that we have a high attendance so that we can be recognized as having an involved neighborhood watch by the police department. So we're hoping that you all can attend. You can sign up at the Pen and Quill over by the billiards room, and be sure to spread it around. The whole community is welcome to come to this potluck, and we look forward to a lot of people attending. We will be raffling off 2 turkeys and a couple of gift cards. You must be present to win, so you all have to come. The tickets are free. You don't have to buy the tickets. They're free. We're passing them out. So now's your chance to win that Thanksgiving turkey, or maybe some gift certificates to go along with that. Okay, that's all I have, and I'm going to introduce Bob Kraus to come on up and talk to us a little bit about Neighborhood Watch. He's our volunteer coordinator. This is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, dear. Just want everyone to know that the Neighborhood Watch is on its way. They have all the information in their hands. They're ready to come and canvass the neighborhood. So be expecting your neighbor to drop by and feed you with some Neighborhood Watch security methods, anything you want to discuss with them concerning safety. They're there to help you. We have approximately 26 sections that we've divided the community into. And one of the problems we're having is that of the 26, we only have half captains to cover that area. Some of the captains have elected to share and get into another area. So if anyone is interested in becoming a captain, please let me know after the meeting and I'll explain everything to you, what's involved. There is no recording or big time spent on this. You go around to the homes, you introduce yourself, you introduce the safety methods that might help. You just get to know your neighbor. And I'd like to thank all the captains that have already participated. They're already starting. We have some captains that have finished almost half their canvassing in their sections. And so be kind when they come around. That's it. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Bob. I'm a block captain, and I'll tell you, it's super easy. All you have to do is the one canvas of your neighborhood, and that's it. And then after that, just be aware and, get to know your neighbors. That's it. So if you're a social person, I strongly recommend becoming a block captain. Okay, next we'll have Sue Smith. She's going to talk to us about the LPG Observer newsletter.
Good morning. Yes, I'm the editor of the LPGRA Quarterly Observer, and I want to thank everybody that submitted stories. The theme for this quarter was funny things that happened at work, and I must admit, I got some laughs at home. Now, I didn't get a whole lot of names. There was a lot of anonymous people out there, but that's okay. I put them in. We're going to try to get this newsletter out within the next 3 days because there's pertinent information for the beginning of November, and I wanted to make sure that I got the election in this newsletter instead of waiting for 3 months down the road. So I thank everybody for submitting your articles to me, and please remember, if you don't like to write, just call me up and I'll write it for you. So anyway, be looking for it.
Thank you, Sue. She told me this is a real good one, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. And next we have Pam. You're going to talk about AMHO or no? I shocked her. I just written my notes there.
All right, just an update. Art Hitty has now stepped up and is working with AMHO. He is the district one rep for our area. He also lives here in the park. He is having a meeting on November 16th, I believe, at card room 1 and 2 at 10 o'clock. Bring your own cup. They will provide coffee and snacks, but you need to bring your own cup. We need to increase our AMHO. They work for all mobile home or manufactured homes in Arizona. It is a viable program. They are here for us. Thank you.
I think it's really nice. I like the way that Art runs his meeting. He told us to start with getting our coffee and our diet pill. And he pointed us over to the corner to pick up our diet pill, and that's where all the donuts were. Okay, so next on our agenda is our open items list. This is a list of things that were brought to our attention during the past month that we were able to bring up to management at our last meeting. And so we give you the results of those. Most of them are closed. If anything is not solved, we continue to monitor it until we do have a solution, and we report the solution when we get it. So first of all, we had a complaint about a saguaro cactus that was tipped over or leaning from the last windstorm that we had. That cactus is on the property of the person that lives there. So they have the choice to do whatever they want with it. Because saguaros are protected by the government, they can't just go and cut it down. They'd have to go through the city and possibly the state in order to have that removed. It is leaning, however, it's not, the ground isn't lifted or anything around it. Management did go and take a good look at it. They also said that if it does fall, because of the way that it's leaning, it's not gonna fall in the road or onto anyone's vehicle or on the neighbor's property. It would fall on their own property. So that we have listed as a closed item. There was a report of a maintenance employee that was driving one of their little carts and was on their phone texting with driving the cart with their knees. That maintenance employee no longer works here. The water dispenser that's out in the lobby, and I guess it wasn't there. So someone said, can that be put back there, because the afternoon card parties and such like to get nice cold water out of that whatever container. So it happened one day. It was not there for about 4 hours. So something like that. Really what we would like to have people do is just walk up to the window there and ask. Maintenance or management, they won't bite, they won't throw anything at you, and they don't retaliate. So feel free to walk up there and talk to them about things like that. It probably could get solved much quicker than what we could through our website. There was improper parking that was reported, and then someone was parking across their driveway instead of perpendicular to the road. So we talked about this last month, and I remember telling everyone that you cannot park your car across your driveway. It has to be perpendicular to the road, not horizontal. If you have company that comes over and parks horizontally across your driveway, they're there for a visit, there's no problem with that. The problem is when you park your car there, you go in your house and you leave your car parked across your driveway. That is not allowed. But if you have occasional, somebody stopping by to visit, there's nothing wrong with them parking that way. Or if maybe you're cleaning out your carport or your garage or whatever, you can park your car across the driveway if you want. It's as long as it's just a temporary thing, like, for a few hours that day, there's no problem. Just don't do it as an overnight or on a regular basis. The front gate. The front gate was closed at all times. We reported that last month. And if you notice, the gate is open at all times. It has changed again. It will be open. As you enter in off of Ellsworth, that gate will stay open now. Management decided to keep it closed for a period of time so that the security guards, or I should say the courtesy patrol, could let everyone know that they are supposed to stop. They're not supposed to just whiz on through there. So they've been instructing people as they've come through, visitors coming through, and also residents that they know they had problems with that were speeding through there. So they kept it closed for the 30 days, and they decided that now it's time to open it again because it gives a more welcoming appearance when people are coming in off the street. I know that there are probably about a dozen homes in here for sale, and I know the people that are selling them would really like to have the sales go through, and one of the things that's important is marketing. And if you have something that looks like it's a very closed-off thing, it's not very welcoming. So it will be monitored just to see if everything is, continues status quo, then the gates will stay open entering off of Ellsworth. Let's see. Someone requested to have a garbage can put on First Street. There was a dog walker that was cleaning up after her dog, putting it in a little doggy bag, and then depositing it under the bush. I still can't believe that happens, but the strange thing is I live here on 5th Street. I was walking home the other day, and I looked at one of the last plant on our street coming up this way, and underneath there is a little black doggy bag. Someone deposited their dog's droppings underneath a neighbor's bush. I have no idea why. Take it home and put it in your own trash. That's all I'll say about that. So anyway, we asked management about getting a trash can on First Street. Their first response was, that's going to be kind of hard because because people are going to think that's where they're supposed to put their dog droppings. And I can see where that might be true, but they said they were going to investigate it. We're going to leave that as an open item because we don't know exactly yet if that's going to come to be, which I can understand why it may not. Another one, pool temperature. The solar cover goes on the pool as soon as the evening temperatures drop below 86 degrees, and it is put on there every night until the temperature at night rises above 86 degrees. That is a consistent thing. They don't do it if you have one night that's under 86 degrees. They're going to run out and put it out there, like in the end of September or something. They wait until they have several days of below 86, and they put the pool cover on. So that stays on throughout the winter into spring when the temperatures start rising above that 86 degree mark. The cover has been in place in the evening since October 17th. It's put on at 10 p.m. and it's removed at 6 a.m. The temperature of the water is maintained at 86 degrees year-round. And I know it doesn't feel like that in the wintertime because it's cold outside, but it is 86 degrees. It can go plus or minus 2 degrees, and that is because of the way the heater is on the pool and the size of the pool. There's parts of the pool that will cool down faster than other parts. And so the fluctuation, that 2 degree plus or minus, is a fluctuation that's caused because of the thermostat on the heater. When the heater registers that it's below 86, it clicks on. And it may take a little while to heat up the size of that pool. So just be patient. It is monitored, and that's how they have determined when to use the heater and when to use the pool cover. Another big one was jumping in the pool. There was an individual that continued to jump in the pool. He's been asked not to and continued. He has received a letter. And the problem being is that when one of us decide to go jump in the pool, and if there's any kids in there, they all think it's cool to jump in the pool. And I had a little girl that missed me by about 6 inches jumping into the pool. So it is an issue, and there is a sign inside, when you go through the gate coming into the pool from the clubhouse, there is a sign right, if you go through the gate and look to the right, there's a sign there that lists all the rules, and one of them is no jumping, no splashing, no running, no diving. The only thing that the signs around the pool say are no diving because it's a shallow pool, but on that sign there, it does say there is no jumping and no splashing. So just so that you're all aware, if you use the pool, you don't have to worry about getting jumped on. If you see someone, feel free to, if you don't want to, tell management about it. Again, the pool is recorded. They do, if you can tell them it's happening right now, or it just happened 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, they can look at the tapes. We had what happened this time is they went back in the tapes and they did find it. They identified the person and sent them a letter to, just to let them know what the pool rules are. Some people don't know the pool rules. So I hope through these meetings and the fact that we now have the rules and regulations up on the website that people will be able to be more familiar with the pool rules. Oh, I thought you... I know. Okay, if you do let somebody know in the office that you have witnessed this, give them the approximate time and the date. The sooner you do it, the better off, the better the result will be. Okay, information. We have a new garbage pickup day. On Monday, it will be picked up as it normally is. It will again be picked up on Thursday, and going forward from there, it will be picked up every Thursday. So they have changed their pickup dates for Las Palmas Grand. So be aware, on Monday, you get a regular pickup, and on Thursday, you'll get a second pickup, and then that will continue from that point forward, going on Thursdays only. Okay? There is a flyer in the mailroom that states this, and we should be getting a letter pretty soon from management, but they did ask me to announce that today here. We also have, we've been collecting for a year nominations for the nonprofit donation that we are required to do in December. Sue has a list up here on a clipboard. If you have a nonprofit that you would like to recommend for a donation, please put it on her list. I think we have five that are listed so far, or that have been 6 that have been submitted so far. And we will take a vote on that the first, our general meeting in December, to decide which nonprofit will get the money for our donation this year. Okay, I have on here to explain the request, concern, compliment form. There's one online that you can fill out and email to us, and there's also one that you can print and then fill it out and either give it to a board member or mail it to us at the Las Palmas Grand address with the box number of 666. And we'll get those. The request concern compliment form is to be used for things that are affecting the entire community, not just you and your neighbor are having a squabble over something, or something that the board really isn't involved in. We cannot be involved in things like real estate. We have no say over the real estate in here whatsoever. If it's, you have a problem because your neighbor had a party last night and you asked them to turn it down and they didn't, go to the office for that. There's nothing that we could do about it, and besides that, it would take a month for us to even come back with any results for you. So we'd like you to use that for things that affect the entire community. And we've listed a lot of those things, like the signage that's been replaced in the community, or something that's wrong with the website, or that type of thing. We'd be more than happy to handle those things. But when it's neighbor against neighbor, or neighbor versus neighbor, we can't do anything about that. That is handled strictly by management. And management wants to hear from you. They said the best way to do it is through email. It's very difficult during the day. Phone calls, their phones are ringing off the hook most of the time. They may be in meetings. They're dashing from here to there to handle this and that. So the easiest thing to do and the most effective thing to do is to email them. So you can email Christy. It's ccanan@thesman.com. It's really easy. You can email Corinne McWilliams. It's just kmcwilliams@thesman.com. Or you can email to Paul Franquito, and his is pfranquito@thesman.com. It's really easy. It's an easy email address to remember. So if you have an issue that is just a personal issue, feel free to contact them. I have stated in the past that if there is an issue that you've brought up, if you just want somebody to listen with you, the board can do that, but we can't as a board get involved in differences between neighbors. Just to explain that. I also have a clarification, something that I announced last month. I think I didn't do it correctly. I was talking about repercussions for people who disobey the rules on a regular basis. And people in here have said, well, there's no ramifications, so you can do whatever you want. That's not true. They call it the 1430 rule. I said it was 7. It's 14. You have 14 days to correct the problem, and you can be evicted after 30, and they will do it. The thing that I liked about it is that so far with any of the letters that they have sent out for that 14-day correction, it has transpired. Within the 14 days, the issue has been taken care of. In the past 20 years, there's been 1 person evicted. So I thought that was pretty good. Good record. I think that speaks to the residents here that sometimes I think we have an attitude that, oh, they're not going to follow the rules, but I think more often it's a case of they don't understand what the rules are and why they are. And so I like that they're given the opportunity to correct the error and live on with the rest of us here. If it is a safety hazard, someone is personally threatened by someone, whether it's physically or verbally, there is a 7-day eviction that management can use to get that person out of here, because it involves the safety of other people that live within the community. So that is a clarification of what I said last month. The other thing is, people think that we live in an HOA. We do not. This is not an HOA. This is a land lease community. The board, has no authority whatsoever over management. None. We're just residents. That's it. We're residents who decided to volunteer to help out in a way that we can with management. HOAs have the ability to make changes. The actual association has the right to make changes within the community. In a land lease, this is like if you, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you did this, but when I was young, I got out of high school and I rented an apartment. I could not tell my landlord what he was going to do to the apartment complex. He told me what was there and what wasn't, and that was it. Like it or leave it. That's basically what we have here. We are renting. We are renters. We're not owners. We own our house, but we don't own the land. So we cannot dictate to management what should or should not be done. The board has one of the purposes of the board is to bring requests that residents have or concerns that residents have about things that are in the community or happening in the community. We bring those to management's attention, and then they decide what will be done. So if something comes back with a no, it's not that the board decided that. We have no authority to decide that. It's strictly up to management. Michael Thesman owns this property, and he has the last say on what's going to be done, how it's going to be done, when it's going to be done, or if it's going to be done. So I just wanted to make sure, because I hear a lot of people talking about making HOA payments. No, you don't. You pay a rent payment. There is no HOA here at all. Okay, so that is all of my open items. I'm just checking. Do we have a final on the election yet? Is that fine? Okay, we have the final on that. Before we go to that, so we don't all forget what we were talking about. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, that's right. Yes. Yep, you're right. Okay, I don't want everybody to forget what they talked about, what we talked about, or if they had any questions. So this is question and answer period. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, and Sue's going to walk around with a microphone. We're not being videoed, but we are being recorded, so this will be available to people hopefully later today. Sue's got the phone right over here.
294 Mike Jurecki. I don't want to belabor the gate thing, but the meeting that we had and we talked about gates, we kind of took an informal vote on who wants the gates closed and who wants them. Can we do that again? Just ask who wants the gates closed or open?
Sure, we can do that, but as far as, now this goes back to us being renters versus HOA.
Oh yeah, I know.
How many people here would prefer to have the front gates coming in off of Ellsworth? Sorry, Elmwood's back where I came from. How many people would like the gates coming off of Ellsworth closed at all times? Raise your hands. Okay. Anybody that doesn't want them open all the time?
No, that's the same thing.
Doesn't want them open?
Does want them open.
I did does.
No, you said
Okay.
closed.
If you want them closed, if you want them open all the time, sorry. If you want them open all the time, raise your hand.
If you want,
Okay.
yeah. Open all.
The regular hours that they're open, not,
Okay.
okay. If a guard, a courtesy patrolman, is out on his rounds, he will close the gate. That doesn't change, okay? If he's or she is using the restroom, that does not change. It's closed. So other than that, does anybody here want them open other than those times?
3.
Okay. So we definitely have more that want them closed. There's no doubt about that. And I will, as the board members, we will let them know that that's what we prefer. But I can tell you right now, I don't know if it's going to make a big difference because it's the landlord's option.
Sure. For me, just my observation compared to what you said about prospects coming in, if I was a prospect coming in and I saw the gates open, that would signal to me there's a lack of security. If I saw the gates closed, it would signal to me that this is a special community that wants to protect itself.
Okay, and there are people who think just the opposite. They
Well,
must have a lot of crime here if they have to have it closed all the time.
Yeah, I think you see a lot what
Yeah, I
people's
know.
opinion is.
Yes,
here.
I definitely do see that, but we've also heard both sides of it. People that let us know they were very disgruntled with it being closed all the time, and then people who are very happy with it being closed all the time. In fact, I don't know if Maria's here, but she was here last month and said, I love it. There she is. I'm so happy that it's closed. It gives you that sense of security. I like it too, but like I said,
I just want to make sure that management knows
Oh, yeah.
that the vast majority of residents would rather see them closed.
Okay.
That's all.
We'll let them know, for sure. Okay, any other questions, problems, anything you want to bring up? Dan? Wait a minute.
I'm coming. I'm
Wait a
coming.
minute. Don't rush her.
In addition, if the gates are closed, there is a sign out in front, open. Homes are open. Real estate is open. So we are welcoming people in.
Okay,
We're not keeping them out.
okay, good point. Good point. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I've been around to a lot of different retirement communities in this valley.
Here I come.
Me too, I can talk loud enough.
They can't hear you.
I've been around to a lot of retirement communities in this valley, visiting friends and everything else. All their gates are closed. Security opens those gates for anybody coming through. So with what they're saying here, that it's more welcoming with the gate open, it's not. It really is not.
You got that?
I will reiterate
Okay.
what Peggy said, in that as a board, we can take this back to management and tell them what happened at the meeting here. So we really don't need more conversation. We understand what this community is asking for.
What I would ask you to do is, this is a prime example of what the request, concern, compliment form is for. The more of those we get, the more, I mean, we don't share the names with management at all. They're private. No one ever sees them but the people that are on the board. But the more of them that we have in hand, we can say, we had this many comments on that subject. So we can let them know that a majority of the people want the gates closed. No problem. And yes, we will discuss this. It gives us more, more leverage if we have those forms because management knows about the forms. They know that we use them. But it gives us more leverage when they know that we have a bunch of forms from people in the community making the same request. So please, fill them out and send them.
I have one more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
You brought up the water issue earlier,
The water issue.
where the water was removed from
Oh,
the
yes.
counter. I was here that day when this transpired.
Oh, okay.
Happened to be a day that I came running up for getting my water bottle. There's no water. I said nothing. But while we're playing cards, there's a lot of ladies that will get up, and gentlemen, to go and get water, just walk to get water. One came back stating, there's no water out there. She went to the office and said, what happened to the water? We will not be putting water out anymore after 12 o'clock noon, is what was stated. When we all got done playing cards, about 9 of us went up to the front office. There was another gentleman that had came in to get water from the pool, asked the question, what happened to the water? It was stated by management that the container broke. At that point, they said, well, you're going to be replacing the container, are you not? Management said, no. You are big people. You can bring your own container and get your own water. I looked at him and I said, what else are you going to take away from us? And I was told, get some respect. That is exactly what happened that day. So what you just
Okay.
mentioned was not true. And I can gather all those ladies that were there when this took place.
Okay. And I'm happy to say the water is back, by the way.
Probably because of me.
Yes, thank you, Joan. Okay. Okay, all right. Two things. We got it in the notes, and this is recorded, and you will be heard on the recording because you spoke into the mic instead of just yelling out. So, no, that's a good thing. Thank you. Okay. We like to know these things. You know, we get a request form. I don't think any of us were up here using the water and knew anything about it. It was a concern form that was sent through that brought it up. And so when we brought it up, we were told what we were told. We had no other information on it. If all of those 9 ladies had filled out the form, or however many you said, if they had all filled out the form, it would have been more than one person saying, this is what happened. We would have had more fuel for the fire on that, okay? But thank you, Joan. Anyone else with questions? We have one here and one back here, so. Hold on. The forms, if you go to lpgra.org, that's where that's our website, and on there you will see additional links or additional information, or I think there's one that actually says request concern compliment form. You just click on that and it'll come up.
It's on the website.
So it is on the website, yes, okay? And then Bob had a question also.
Yeah, it's really a clarification. I recently had my driveway refinished, and I parked around the clubhouse here. And I wasn't sure if you're supposed to report that all the time. Can you use the parking spaces around here for overnight parking in that case, or none at all?
You should let management know that you're doing that. You get a pass, or a little thing to put in your window.
So there is no free overnight parking around? Well, I mean, I shouldn't say free, you're right.
Yeah.
That you don't have to report it.
Joe
You have to
Schmo
report it
can't
all.
come in here and park his car there and take off for someplace else.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got to have some kind of notification that it's in there.
Overnight, that's what I mean.
Yeah, overnight is when it becomes a problem. Anybody else? Oh, yes.
Right here.
Hi.
Have we had any updates on the lease?
We're still shooting for January. Everything's going smoothly. I don't think anybody's had any complaints about actually the terms of the lease or anything like that. Everything is like we had leases. So we're hoping for January. We're hoping for January for that. Everyone in here will have to sign a new lease. Whenever they come out, everyone in here has to sign a new lease, yes. And you will get documentation of it. You'll get a copy of it for yourself. Anybody else? Okay. We have the results of the voting. And okay, so it looks like, I just want to make sure I have everything here. Okay. All right. Sue got a total of 53 votes. Dennis got a total of 45 votes. Linda Gurley got a total of 6 votes. Dan Shanahan got a vote of 1. Okay, if you know Dan, this is kind of cool. And let's see, and I got Peggy Marcone got 58 votes. So your new board is Sue Smith, Peggy Marcone, and Dennis Miller. Thank you. Oh, Joan's already left. She did say she had to scoot out, but Joan Swanson was a big help and as one of our counters. And also I want to give a round of applause for Lois Shanahan and Bob Barrett, too, for helping out today. Thank you very much. We will have an election again next November. I hope between now and then, some of you, consider running for the board. There are 2 meetings per month. They're both done on Thursday mornings, the last Thursday of the month and the first Thursday of the next month. So that's pretty much it, other than getting to know people. I think it's a real good chance if you're looking to meet people and get involved in the community. I think being on the board is a great way of doing it. I know that I have truly enjoyed it. This is, I'm completing my 3rd year on the board, and I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. So yes, there's work to it sometimes, but, and there are some frustrations, but I think that's normal for life. So, we are, yes. Okay. I want to say a few words before we let Pam do that. Okay? All right. I want to thank Pam, who is leaving the board, for doing such a great job. She's been our secretary, treasurer. She was our secretary before, and then this year she was our treasurer, and she has done a fabulous job. She took all the little receipts and all the little notes that were here, there, and the other place, and put it into a cohesive file with everything in order. She also helped us with the IRS, which I didn't even want to touch. They scare me. And she handled it extremely well. So I am sad to see her go. I understand why she's going, but I just think Pam did a great job while she was on the board.
I just wanted to thank everybody for supporting us, and I have really enjoyed being on the board for the 2 years. It took a little bit to do the treasures and get it up to date and get everything where we needed to be, and I hope whoever gets the position will be able to follow what I've done. It's pretty self-explanatory. Thank you all for your support.
And the way this election is we have been elected to the board, not to a position. When the board meets again, we decide between the 5 of us who's going to be in which position. So we have a president, a first vice president, a second vice president, a treasurer, and a secretary. So those 5 positions will be announced. The winner, or the winners, the assignments, thank you, will be announced at our next general meeting. So, does anyone have any other questions or anything else they want to bring up before I end this meeting?